Hey everybody, welcome to the Ground Effect podcast, where we dive into the heart of Formula One, bringing you the latest news, insider analysis, and sharing our thoughts on the motorsport we love. So come and join us, G and Mick, as we look forward to what promises to be an exciting 2025 Formula One season. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Ground Effect podcast. We've got a massive week ahead. The cars are out on track for the first official race of the season down in Melbourne, and we have some interesting news regarding a new team entering the grid for 2026. Joining me from the other side of the world, Mick, how you going, mate? Did you survive the big cyclone?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, good to be back. Managed to survive the cyclone. Wasn't as bad as what they were expecting, which is good.
Now, before we touch on the big news of Formula One Melbourne Grand Prix, General Motors, official now. It's finally, after probably like a year of speculation, if they were going to get the spot on the grid, it's confirmed, 2026.
Finally, the 11th team has been confirmed. Formula One released a statement not too long ago. The FIA and Formula One can confirm that the following completion of their respective sporting and technical and commercial assessments, the application by General Motors and TWG Motorsport to bring Cadillac to the FIA Formula One World Championship in 2026 has been approved. So they've obviously got all their ducks in a row. I think the final piece of that was TWG coming in and Michael Andretti stepping aside and TWG taking over. I think that was the final piece of the puzzle. Seems like Formula One weren't interested in bringing in just another team to the grid. They wanted to bring in engine manufacturer.
Yeah, well, they got that with GM, obviously one of the biggest auto manufacturers of the world. Naturally, a US team, and we've seen the interest in the US market with Formula One over the last few years. So it all makes sense for Formula One to go in this direction. Now, they currently have a tie-up with Ferrari for parts, mainly using Ferrari as the engine supplier, but they have made a commitment to build their own power units in the US from 2030.
Yeah, so I think that was part of the deal. They'll come in 2026 with a technical agreement with Ferrari, which on the flip side is good for a Ferrari to have another car on the grid. Cross-team data and all that sort of stuff. They've definitely committed a lot of money. I think they've confirmed a power unit factory in New Hampshire in the US. We all know we're riding an American wave right now, so I think an American manufacturer, American-based team, I think, yeah, it's good for Formula One.
Yeah, clearly they're committed, definitely pumping a lot of money into it. Now, be interesting because naturally when we do get new teams, especially over the last 20 years, we've had a lot of perennial underachievers and backmarkers. Obviously, Brawn being the exception to that rule back in 2009, but they were essentially just a continuation of an older team, which was, if I remember correctly, EAR Honda. So finally, a brand new spanking team. So naturally, that's going to open up rumors to who the two new drivers are going to be. So who have you got your money on?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, this is going to go on for the next 12 months. I guess, what do they want as a team? Obviously, you're going to need someone with experience who's been in a big team, who knows how the big teams work. So you've got someone like Perez or Bottas. I believe they'll bring in an American driver. They're in the background saying that they have to be there on merit. Yes and no. I think deep down they want an American driver in that car. So you would have to imagine it's going to be a seasoned campaigner because you're going to need someone who knows how to help develop a car.
Yeah, so you're saying based on merit, which obviously makes sense. So we're probably not going to see poor old Logan Sargent thrust into the seat. Rumors have been circulating that it will possibly be Colin Herter. Currently, he does not have enough points on his super license, but I'm sure they'll work that one out should he become an official driver. You're definitely correct in saying that they definitely need a driver that can bring in some sort of like race-winning team mentality of experience. And, you could look at someone like Sergio or Bottas in that capacity. But no doubt the rumor train will begin over the next few months before they come out. I mean, you'd sort of assume that they would make their driver lineups by summer, right? Like, I don't think it's going to be sort of like a lastminute.com announcement.
Yeah, well, you would think so. I guess they might have to wait until after summer to see who's on the market, if any drivers are on the market. You would imagine somewhere before the end of the season, the driver lineups will be announced. I guess if they're going to bring Colton Herta, then you've got to wait and see how he goes with his super license. I mean, they would have probably thought about all this. He might not have the points now, but I think if it was me, I would go someone, Bottas, Perez, maybe even Danny Rick, marketing machine. He would commercially would be wonders, I think, for GM.
Yeah, no, I mean he's pretty iconic in the US as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think save your American driver for a year or two. You need that experience, right? You need drivers who know how to develop the car, who knows what it takes to win, someone who's been in a big team. Ideally, Carlos would have been perfect for someone like that. I wouldn't worry about having an American driver in the car just yet. But I believe deep down that they want an American in that car from the get-go. And I think also too, I don't think they're so much worried about more teams coming in now and being back markers from the get-go. Obviously, they will be. Now with the cost cap, you look how much Haas has improved since the cost cap. All the teams have improved since the cost cap, and they have all come in a little bit closer to each other.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely has closed the field up a little bit from, say, the front marker to the back marker, as opposed to what we've had in the past where the back marker has just been essentially just basically shouldn't be out there.
Also, too, you got to think, being an engine manufacturer, we've got two now. So we've got Cadillac and Audi. So I think expectation is they have to come in and they have to be competitive from the get-go. And I think that cost cap really helps with that. I mean, they probably will fumble around the bottom for a while, but I don't think it'll be as bad as someone like Haas or Marussia back in the day, or privately owned teams come in fumbling around the back. I mean, you look at Williams, how much they've improved since the cost cap era. I think that really helps with teams coming in and being able to be pretty competitive from the get-go.
Yeah, because we sort of had a little bit of a duration there with a few new teams. Like if I think back, obviously Marussia, was the HRT, I think it was. Was that Hispania Racing, HRT? I think there was also Caterham for a while. And yeah, there were just a few teams that were basically they're out there but never competitive. So we definitely need GM to be sort of hitting the ground running.
Yeah, and I think that's why Formula One were not interested in someone like Andretti Motorsport coming in. Why they really felt that best fit for Formula One is an engine manufacturer, especially with the new engine regulations. They don't want maybe, like a Marussia or HRT, privately sort of owned team, I guess. Like they want manufacturers to come in. They've put everything in place where most of these teams could be competitive. I think they're a lot further along in car development. They started that before they even started making a play to get into Formula One. They had all those processes. I think they're quite a fair way down in car development. And, the technical tie-up with Ferrari, so they don't have to worry about the engines, gearboxes, all that sort of stuff. I think they're a lot further advanced than what we maybe think. Tough ask to be ready in 12 months, but I think they already had a lot of things in place. So when they get on the grid in 26, they're hopefully super competitive.
Or even if they bring up the rear, it's like they're not way off, that they're or thereabouts. But anyway, time will tell on that one. Exciting news either way. Little bit of news. We've got a new track coming onto the calendar for next year. So Spain will get another race in Madrid. They've already named it the Madring. Another street circuit. Can't say I'm super excited with another street circuit. And also speculation of what will happen with Barcelona, whether that remains on the grid or is kicked off. That remains to be seen. How would you feel if Barcelona was kicked off? Is it a favorite track?
It's not, I wouldn't say it's my favourite circuit. I think it's definitely a lot better since they stopped testing there. Pretty run-of-the-mill. They'd go there for testing, and then it used to be the first round of the European season, or European leg of the season. That's not the case anymore. I think it's Imola now is the opening round. Don't we have enough street circuits already? Yes, they look sick. Like street circuits and Formula One cars, amazing. Racing, we don't really get that great racing until we start to get into the European and go back to those old circuits.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, Barcelona was taken off the calendar, it wouldn't be a great loss. But hey, all those Barca fans out there, I'm sure they wouldn't be too happy. I mean, Dominicali has come out and he's basically quoted, the fact that we are in Madrid is not excluding the fact that we could stay in Barcelona for the future. So maybe they alternate it, maybe some seasons they run both. But anyway, Madrid has been signed now to 2035, so a 10-year contract. Now, little bit of exciting news, which I think is a little bit far-fetched, and I think it is Mohammed bin Sulayem gaining some brownie points, but he has suggested bringing back V10s.
It's an interesting one. Like you said, I definitely think it's a brownie point exercise. The only way, I mean, yes, they could come back, I guess, after the next set of regulations change, because they change regulations like they change their underwear, so who knows. But to be honest, I'm not a V10 man. Bring back the V8s for me. If you're going to bring anything back, bring back the V8s.
I'm not going to complain too much because, I mean, if they bring back anything above a V6 and bring back some type of noise that resembles what we used to hear, I'm all for it. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like a short turnaround to sort of bring in some new regs for the engines coming in for next year and then within 4 years take that away. But I mean, who knows? Let's see. Again, one of those things, time will tell. Now, big news for Oscar and McLaren fans. He signed a new multi-year deal, I believe.
Yeah, no, so that was confirmed, well-deserved. I think it's really, really smart from McLaren. Keep that continuity, both proven race winners, both proven they can get the job done. But I think coming into next year with the new regulations, having that continuity is going to be massive.
Agree. I mean, it's a strong pairing, and that's a pairing of that could last for a lot longer too. I mean, they're still both young drivers. I mean, Oscar is 23 years old. Lando, I mean, it feels like Lando's been around for such a long time now, but what's he, 25? So, I mean, there's still a lot of years ahead of them.
And why wouldn't you lock them both up and keep them both in the same team? I just think long term, it's only going to benefit McLaren.
Well, let's see how this year plays out because, we did make a little bit of a prediction in one of the earlier episodes with if they're both fighting for a championship and things turn a little bit sour. That could get a little bit spicy.
You know what? I kind of hope it is those two fighting for a championship. If that's the case, I think you're going to see Oscar get his elbows out and see how feisty he really is. Now he's signed that new long-term contract. It's no more second fiddle. You got to go out there and you got to earn the right off the bat. And I think it came down to it. I think he's got a little bit more killer in him than Lando.
So you're suggesting 2025 is the year of ruthlessness coming from Piastri, huh?
I think if that car's good, Oscar's got to be one of the favourites to win the championship. I think I picked him as my championship winner this year.
That's a bit of homegrown bias here, though. But in saying that, he is world championship material.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, moving on to the big event, race 1 of the season on Sunday. We've got the cars out for P1 and P2 on Friday. Melbourne traditionally is the first race of the season, has been since 1996 when it came onto the calendar as it replaced Adelaide. Hasn't been the first race of the season since 2019, so it's returned to that slot. And how are we looking for weather? Looks like P1, P2 going to get sunny weather on Friday and a hot one on Saturday, and then a bit of wetness coming on Sunday, right?
So potentially some weather on Sunday. I think that's going to be good for the race because traditionally Melbourne doesn't lend itself to great racing. Although it's a street circuit, it's quite fast, quite high downforce, follow the leader kind of racing. So I think a bit of weather will definitely help spice that up. Mixed grids is always exciting racing. Yeah, so I think the race needs a bit of weather.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Melbourne hasn't always lent itself to being the most exciting race of the season. I think it's sort of benefited from being traditionally the first race of the season. And I think that's where a lot of the excitement comes from for it. I mean, they get a great crowd down there. And just to, see the cars actually perform on track and to sort of see who really are the contenders makes for the exciting event. But we're looking at a wet race, which will obviously that'll spice things up. And should it be wet on Sunday, who are your sort of favourites? Do you see a team that would benefit from these conditions?
Yeah, it's a tough one because we kind of didn't really get a true reading in testing of the competitive order. And I think come qualifying on Saturday, we'll definitely see that. It's going to mix the grid up. It's definitely going to bring teams like Alpine, Haas, Williams in the mix. But as far as the top 4 go, I don't think it's really probably going to change too much. My pick is Charles for the win, so I'm going red. As much as I'd love Lewis to, it's going to take him a couple of races to really get on top of that car in a race weekend. I'm leaning towards Charles. Also being biased, I love Oscar to win as well.
Yeah, home bias, of course, yep.
Yeah, but I think Charles is going to come out of the blocks firing. He's mentioned he's had a pretty under-the-radar off-season, and I think that's really going to do really good things for him, and I think he's going to start this season really, really strongly.
Well, I don't doubt the Ferrari is good. What I do doubt, though, is the strategy calls should the weather and the rain come in. That's not always Ferrari's strong point, the strategy wise. But no, I think it'll be great if a little bit of weather comes in. Hopefully, it's not too brutal where it brings out red flags and all that type of stuff. But definitely going to be tough for the rookies in wet weather because I'm sure not a lot of them have had a lot of experience behind the wheel of a Formula One car in wet conditions. But my pick of the rookies would be Lawson. I mean, he has a little bit of experience there. But yeah, it's going to be a great race.
Yeah, I mean, look, out of all the rookies, your money would have to be on Lawson. He's going to be, apart from Kimi, he's probably in the most competitive car. He's had that 11 race experience. I think that's really going to help him. It'll be a good test. I mean, all eyes are going to be on him, mainly from the outside, but everyone wants to see how close he is going to be to Max. And I think with the weather, I think that might actually play into his hands a little bit. I mean, Max is a demon in the wet, but it'll definitely might bring him just that little bit closer. I'm expecting Liam to have a really good race, actually. I think he's going to surprise a few people.
Yeah, I hope so too. And naturally, it's like a bit of a home race for him. A lot of Kiwis, obviously, in Australia, and I think quite a few will fly out for it. So definitely his adopted home race for this season. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting dynamics because, I mean, look, Max has come out was it earlier this week, suggesting on current form that Red Bull can't win the race. But if there are wet conditions, Max is my favorite to win.
I think the whole in the fight to win, I think it's a bit Mercedes back in the day. Oh, the car's not that great. I don't believe it might be as quick as McLaren yet, but you'd be silly if you ruled them out, especially Max.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of mind games, I think, that you sort of hear in the media with what drivers say. I mean, you just can't write off Red Bull, even if they didn't look super crash hot during testing. Definitely, if it's wet conditions, I mean, Max is definitely one of the best drivers out there in those type of conditions. And even if the car is, slightly down on performance on their rivals, I think wet conditions, Max driving is a great equalizer. Big, talking about another hometown driver, obviously big pressure on Jack Doohan. We all know the whole Colapinto story surrounding that. I mean, I'm under the belief that Colapinto's got that seat. Flavio's already made that decision. Regardless, I mean, it's an opportunity for Doohan to prove his critics wrong and also put him in a frame for any future seats that do come up. I mean, let's just say, demolishes Gasly over the first few races. I mean, is Flavio going to continue with the Colapinto plan?
Yes, I believe he is. They say Jack's got time. I don't think he does. It'll be just a matter of if he has two bad performances in a row, then there's the excuse to get him out. But like you said, if he gets on top of Gasly and then still gets the punt, who's pulling the strings there then.
Well, I mean, it's super harsh, but I mean, it only does his credentials better. I mean, for a future team, that's for sure.
Of course. By all reports, he's got about a month. So what's that? 2 back-to-back weekends, so that's 4 races. Why even bother? If you're going to give it to Colapinto, give it to Colapinto and do it now. You're going to do more damage than you are good, giving the young kid a seat because you felt like you needed to do the needful, and then going, oh, actually, we want this kid in the car because we believe he's faster. Well, if that's the case, then just put the kid in the car now.
I did read briefly earlier today. Again, I don't know, don't quote me on the source that it's true or anything like that, that apparently his personal sponsors were paying Williams $500,000 a race. So let's see, and I mean, Formula One is a business at the end of the day.
But even $500,000 a race, you still got a cost cap. So it's not like you can spend that money. I mean, you can spend that money on the car, but the cost cap, I don't.
Well, someone wants to make money. I mean, it comes down to,
Briatore wants to fatten his pockets.
It's a Briatore. But I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one because I understand there's cost cap there. Obviously, the driver's not part of that. Driver salary is not part of that. You got to wonder what sort of loopholes are around there. Wonder how tight it really is.
Well, I guess if you have to pay, say you're paying Jack to be in the car, but then you got Colapinto who's like got all this backing and he's like, well, I get it from a business point of view. You're obviously going to take the person that can bring the most money. I just don't feel that that's a massive factor anymore with the cost cap. I just think Briatore thinks he's better than Doohan. That's all there is to it. So yeah, a lot of pressure for Doohan. He's, from the latest rumours, he's got about a month. Hopefully, it'll be awesome for him to just get the job done. Love to, bias again. Love to see him smash Gasly.
Yeah, definitely.
I think he'll be close. I think he'll probably be similar to Gasly. I think that seat's already done.
I think if it does rain on Sunday, it's going to be a really tough gig for him to match Gasly. I mean, Gasly's such an experienced driver now, and especially in wet weather conditions as well.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's where your experience will come to the fore. Bar Lawson, I think they're all going to struggle in the wet.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the rookies, I mean, Behrman's had a little taste of wet weather in Brazil. Lawson, obviously, but when you look at Hadjar, Bortoleto, Kimi, so yeah, tough gig. But hey, look, that's why they get paid to do what they do, and that's why they're in those seats, because they're considered the best in the business. So,
I mean, you look at, it's generally the wet races where unearths the new talent, right? I was like, there's a wet race, and then Stroll back in the Williams days puts it in, was it the front row or third on the grid in the wet in Monza? Then all of a sudden, Lance Stroll's on the scene. So it's generally like, yeah, the wet races where new talent is unearthed.
yeah, you can really cement your place on the grid with a good showing. So speaking of good showing, your podium predictions. Who are your top three?
I'm going to say Charles for the W, Lando second, and Oscar third. I think Oscar's going to get on the podium, create a bit of history. Lewis for fourth.
I think it's going to be, because if it does rain, I'm leaning towards Verstappen. So Verstappen, Charles, and George Russell.
Rusty.
Yeah. Yep. 3 different teams on the podium. But I definitely wouldn't put money on it. And if anyone out there does, you're going to lose money, because I am clearly going to muff this. We may see something completely surprising, a new race winner. Imagine that.
Well, that's the great thing, right? The weather is predicted. It makes Saturday even more important. I mean, Saturday is generally super important anyway, but I think would make it even more important.
Yeah, definitely on a street circuit in the wet.
I'm really looking forward to Saturday and just see how close these teams really are and how much of a big step they've made over the break and the off season. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting weekend. Finally, some on-track action starting on Friday. Looking forward to the review show where we discuss the race in greater detail and share our thoughts on what we thought and other news coming out of the weekend. Until then, we'll catch you on the next one. Laters.
Later.